Hi, my name is Adele, and I'm 27 years old. I'm going to tell you the story of how I suffered through a series of crazy events just because I got sick. Before I get into the details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to show your support. About 1 month ago, I was a normal employee at an IT company. The guy I had a crush on was my coworker. His name was Adrian, though I could never confess my feelings to him since he was already dating someone else. Still, we were good friends, and that was enough for me. So that was pretty much my life. Going to the office, doing my job, hanging out with Adrian, and then coming back home. However, everything changed when one day I contracted this disease. I called my boss to ask for a sick leave. He started freaking out over the phone. "What? When did this happen? How long have you been hiding it?" he asked in panic. "It just happened today," I replied. "I still haven't even visited the doctor, so I'm not sure what it is." "Okay, then go and get tested first," he said. "And since you hang out with Adrian, I guess he isn't safe either. Both of you were working on a project together, right? You can work from home now. Figure out a way to meet Adrian and do your job properly." Wow, so he still wanted me to work? I shook my head in disbelief and I hung up. A few hours later, Adrian arrived at my place and told me that he was sick too. "What are you doing here then?" I exclaimed. "You should rest at your home." "Boss's order," he sighed. "He wants us to turn in the files before the deadline." Ugh. I invited Adrian inside, and both of us decided that it would be best if he stayed at my place for a few days. Neither of us was in the condition to move properly, let alone commute daily. And since our boss was not going to listen no matter what we said, this was our last option. That's how Adrian and I started living together. It was a different kind of torture for me since I had a huge crush on him. Seeing him every day at my place and working with him all day long only served to increase my love for him. Not to mention that despite being sick himself, he would look after me and he even did most of the work around the house. Anyway, we got back our test results. Both of us tested positive. It was definitely not good news. I called my boss to inform him of this. "What the hell?" he shrieked. "Positive? Are you kidding me? Gosh, why did you have to be an employee at my company? What am I going to do now?" "You're making it sound like I contracted this disease on purpose," I retorted. "It's not like I'm happy about this, and on top of everything, Adrian and I are still working on your project." "Right, I forgot about that," he replied. "You know what? You can stop working. I'm just firing the two of you. Take a rest, roam around, do whatever you want to do. Just don't come back to this office." "What?" I exclaimed in shock. "You can't just fire us like that. This is wrong." "I am the boss here. Don't tell me what I can't do," he bit out angrily. "Just mind your own business and don't bother calling here again." "Wait, what about the others?" I asked. "All the employees are at risk." "What do you mean? Do you want me to shut down this office?" he yelled. "I can't have everyone working from home, so you better not tell anyone about this. You created this mess in the first place, so take responsibility now." Before I could say another word, he hung up. Wow, this man was unbelievable. He was going to get everyone sick at this rate. And what did he mean by taking responsibility? He didn't even care about his own employees' well-being. When I told everything to Adrian, he was as shocked as me. "We can look for jobs again after we recover, but what he's doing is wrong," he said in disbelief. "And he's putting everyone inside that office at risk." "I know," I sighed. "We should find a way to expose him. He deserves to have his office locked down." Adrian was still going to have to stay with me for a few more days since we had to follow the mandatory quarantine now. But I guess he didn't inform his girlfriend about his whereabouts. One morning, a girl barged inside my house, saying she was Adrian's girlfriend. "That's fine, but you shouldn't be here," I yelled after her. "You'll get sick too." She didn't hear me and went inside looking for Adrian. She was probably expecting to find him cheating on her, but instead he was lying sick on the couch. "Julie, what are you doing here?" he asked in confusion when he saw her. "You haven't been getting my calls. I had to track you through this app. When I realized that you were at your coworker's place, I thought you were cheating on me," she exclaimed. "What are you doing here, and why do you look so pale?" "Well, I don't feel like talking to anyone," Adrian slowly replied. "As you can see, I'm sick, and you shouldn't be here. Chances are that you've already contracted this disease." Her eyes widened. "What the hell? You should have told me this before." I shook my head. "I tried to, but you ignored me." Julie had to get tested after that, and as we had feared, her results came back positive. And instead of going back home, she started staying at my place too. Could this get any worse? Now I was stuck with my crush and his girlfriend. I wouldn't have minded much if Julie was normal and didn't act like a stuck-up brat. She had a problem with every little thing in my house and often ridiculed me for having a middle-class lifestyle. "Seriously, how do you survive in this hole? There's not even enough space for one person, let alone 3, she said one day. "Listen," I started calmly. "No one asked you to stay here. Go back to your house and do whatever you want to do." "Why would I go back when Adrian is here?" she frowned. "I've always suspected this, but there's definitely something wrong with you. Did you really think I wouldn't notice that you like my boyfriend, and now you're asking me to leave so that you can just do whatever with him?" Okay, fair enough. I liked Adrian and she must have sensed it, but she didn't need to be so rude about it. "If I really wanted to do anything, I would have done it a long time ago," I told her. "I used to spend time with him at the office every day, and even before you arrived, we were alone, but nothing happened. I don't make moves on committed guys, so it would be better if you behaved like a civilized human being during your stay here." I turned around and left before she could reply. That night, however, I heard loud voices coming from downstairs. I got out of my bedroom and tiptoed downstairs. After making sure that no one could see me, I took a peek to find Adrian and Julie arguing. Adrian was scolding her for behaving like a brat, and she said something about how I was trying to break up their relationship. "Adele is not that kind of person," Adrian argued. "We're good friends, nothing else. If you have any problem with that, then take it up with me because it was my decision to stay here." "Look how you're defending her already," Julie retorted. "And why would you stay in this hellhole? There's nothing good about this place." I felt like I shouldn't be eavesdropping, but I was going to hear everything anyway with how loud they were. In the end, Adrian told Julie that he didn't like girls like her, girls who complain and are insecure about everything. "Besides, I'm at fault too. I didn't even contact you while I was here," he continued. "I think we should end our relationship here. Both of us deserve better." I didn't know what to feel. I had never imagined that their argument would come to this, and I felt guilty because somehow I may have triggered the breakup. After cursing Adrian to her heart's content, Julie left my house. The atmosphere was super awkward the next day. Adrian kept apologizing about Julie's behavior. I told him to forget about it. "I'm sorry if I came in between the two of you," I added. "I'll talk to Julie and make everything clear if you want." He shook his head. This was bound to happen someday. She always reacted like this if I ever talked to any girl. I don't need that kind of possessiveness. I nodded in understanding. After that, everything got back to normal and we proceeded to discuss the issue with the boss. We had no option but to report him for what he was doing. We tried talking to him again, but he refused to listen. So, first of all, I called all of the people I used to work with and told them about my condition. Some of them were horrified and some said they had the symptoms too, but the boss had asked them to ignore it. After making sure that everyone knew and got tested, we called the cops and reported him for firing us unjustly and for putting all his employees at risk. The company was shut down. It was sad because everyone lost their jobs, but we were all capable enough to find new jobs and start our lives over again. As for Adrian, he left after a few days when both of us were fully recovered. If you're wondering why I didn't confess my feelings to him, then that's just because he just went through a breakup. I want him to have time and space to move on. There will be many opportunities to confess later.